Welcome once again to another episode. I don't remember which number it is, but anyway, to the debate, however you want to call it, of 2023. And let's start today talking about the FIA. I want to talk to you about the FIA, especially because of what happened in this Grand Prix of Jeddah last weekend. Good thing about the FIA, and I already mentioned this yesterday in the points, is that so far they have a consistency that they didn't have in the past years. Alonso and Ocon, different Grand Prix, had the same penalty for the same things. But I want to talk about the other penalty. Mainly, I also have another thing that I want to talk later about. But mainly, I want to talk about this penalty. Alonso comes into the pit lane. I don't remember which lap it was. But anyway, he had a 5-second penalty. And according to the FIA, you cannot touch the car during that penalty, whichever amount of seconds that you have to serve, right? If you have 5 seconds, the mechanics that you see around here, all this pit crew, can be around the car, but they cannot touch the car in any way, right? Well, or so we thought, because this guy over here, the guy with a rear jack, he is gonna put the jack in the diffuser to try to lift the car. He will not lift it, but he will touch it. According to the FIA, you are not allowed to touch the car in any way, right? The Article 54.4 of the FIA Sporting Regulation dictates, whilst the car is stationary in the pit lane as a result of an incurring penalty, it may not be worked on until the car has been stationary for the duration of the penalty. Okay, that's one part of it, right? It doesn't say that you cannot touch there, but well, it does say that you cannot work on it, and in theory, it was agreed by the teams that you cannot touch the car. The rear jack guy touched the car. The same similar thing happened with Ocon in Bahrain. But anyway, so the stewards showed the video of Alonso, served the penalty by the race directors. They stated that what was agreed at the SISSA meeting with the teams was that no part of the car could be touched while a penalty was being served, as this would constitute working on the car. So you cannot touch the car at any way, right? But this guy, there is a video actually in the official F1.com, if you're gonna go there. There is a video that shows that this guy actually places the rear jack right where he has to place it, right, to lift the car. So he's touching it, not working on it, but he's touching it, he's ready. According to what we saw here, it was agreed at the Sporting Advisory Committee with the teams, so it's not something that caught everybody by surprise. So it was agreed by every single team that you cannot touch the car in any single way, right? And you can see this guy already touched it. If you watch the video, you cannot see it here. Obviously, it's a picture, but anyway. And you can see this guy, for example, he's ready to take off the car, the tire, right? As is the guy with the gun, for example, this one. They are very close to the car, but they're not touching the car. Same thing for the front jack guy, who is not touching the car, but he's ready to touch the car. This guy did. So in theory, according to that, the penalty that they gave to Alonso after the race should be served, should have a 10-second penalty. Right? In this case, it was clear that the car was touched by the rear jack. This guy. Right? Based on the representation made by the stewards that were there, was an agreed position that touching the car would amount to working on the car, which, remember, it was agreed by every single team that if you touch the car would constitute that you're working on the car. Right? So the steward decided to impose a penalty, which is correct, according to the agreement of every single team. It's not like something the FIA said, you know what, touching the car is this. No. Every single team decided, in agreement with the committee of SAC or whatever, that any kind of contact with the car is working on the car. You are not allowed to touch the car. And that guy did touch the car. This guy. There are also doubts, actually, that this guy is touching any part of the car, which I don't think he is. I think it's just that the rear wing is blocking the view, but I don't think this guy is touching anyhow, at least not in this picture. But anyway, the rear jack clearly is. Right? However, there's one thing why Aston Martin complained about it, right? The article gives the stewards the discretion to disqualify a car for failure to comply with the Article 54.4 state C. However, given that no work was done while the car was touched, we consider that disqualification. So imagine, the stewards were able to disqualify the car if they wanted to, but it was too hard. Mainly because, yes, they were touching, but no, they were not doing any work. So they added a 10-second penalty to Fernando Alonso. So far, I think everybody's kind of clear to the point, right? But here comes the biggest issue, and I think actually, for once, I agree with Alonso. This happened before lap 20, let's say. Don't remember which lap was the one that the safety car came in because of Stroll, which is the second part of the video. If, and only if, this was applied, at some point, I'm guessing like 1 or 2 or 5 laps, whatever, after somebody realized that Aston Martin worked on the car, or I say worked, but touched, okay, let's say touched. Aston Martin touched the car. Why was it not investigated earlier? And also, and this is why Alonso was complaining, he didn't care about the penalty. If they touched the car, it's okay. However, why didn't nobody tell him anything? Why didn't nobody tell Aston Martin anything? It was only until the last 5 laps or something like this that Mercedes heard something about it, right? Alonso didn't know. So he spent 25 laps or 30 laps, I don't know how many there were, without knowing that he could have a penalty because somebody touched the car, the rear jack guy, right? How can nobody tell that there is an investigation about this? How can they not notify Alonso about this? How can they not issue the penalty while they are on the race? Why they have to wait until it's over there? The race is over, right? After the race. Why? And this is something, not just for this race, this is something that is happening quite frequently in the modern F1. They wait until the race is over and then they issue penalties, which is extremely not the right thing to do, according to my point of view, at least. This is just one case. I mean, there are plenty of cases in the recent years in races where they waited until the end, like they put a note during the race, I will investigate it after the race, and after the race they issue a penalty, right? Why do you do that? Just, if there is a contact on track or something, you are right there, you're watching the stupid race, you don't need 5 million views, right? You can see that somebody touched somebody, if somebody left the track, you have the view of it. You cannot wait 10, 20 laps to issue the penalty. At least before, it was not like this. If you go to the 90s or the early 2000s, the penalties were issued quite kind of straight away. If there is some kind of, let's say at the end of the race, right? The last 5 laps, something happens, I can understand that maybe they will issue the penalty after the race. But if it happens early, as it happened this one, why they don't issue the penalty at the point, at the moment? Not at the moment, but I mean, if you know there's an investigation and you have the different kind of angles that show that the guy touched the car, there is no doubt, there is no debate, there is no discussion. There is a penalty. Issue it at the moment, 5, 10 laps later, or at least notify Aston Martin that there will be a penalty about it, or there is an investigation about it, and the possible penalty is 10 seconds. Alonso can open a gap, that's what he said. He said that he could open a gap. If somebody notifies him that he has to open a gap, maybe he will push and try to open the gap. Maybe Russell will also try it, and maybe Alonso cannot open the gap. I don't know. But anyway, delaying the penalties like they are doing it recently, and I say recently in the past few years, at least, I don't agree with that method. This should have been issued a penalty after 5-10 laps. You already have the videos. You see the videos. There are many cameras in the pit lane. You can see it. The stewards who are there, I don't care if they are not there. I mean, there should be somebody who can issue the penalties quick. There should not be any kind of debate. Which there was no debate. They touched the car, they issued a penalty. However, Aston Martin, and this is the funny part, presented some proof of, I think it was 7 videos, of previous cases where some car was doing the penalty thing in the pit lane, and the car was touched, and they received no penalty. according to what the media say, there are 7 cases when this happened, and there were no penalties. Ocon had it in Bahrain, Alonso had it here, but according to Aston Martin, there were 7 previous cases where this happened, and there was no any penalty. They just got away with it. So they said, yeah, you're right. He was just touching the car. So no work on it. Okay, we will give him back the podium. So, as I said at the beginning of the video, there was consistency. Apparently, there is no consistency. How? I mean, there is an agreement between the teams. You cannot touch the car. If you cannot touch the car and every single team agreed to it and every single team knows about it, it's not like something that you don't know about it, right? Like pushing cars off the track, and sometimes it's a penalty, sometimes it isn't. Here the things are clear. There is no interpretation of each steward of each Grand Prix. They touched the car, it's clear, there are videos of it. So they revoked the penalty, they took it away to give Alonso back the podium. I mean, why do you have a rule, why do you have an agreement if nobody is going to respect it, right? I do not agree with how the thing was handled, and I do not agree revoking the penalty. As I didn't agree, for example, that Alpine complained about the penalty, let's say, in Bahrain, right? They touched the car, it's a penalty. The position of Ocon in the grid was wrong, it's a penalty. The position of Alonso in the grid was wrong, it's a penalty. Everything was really fair and square, clear, like a crystal, like a baby's ass. I don't know, I don't care. But then they touched the car, and there is no penalty. I mean, if at the beginning of the season we already have these kind of things, where are we going, right? I mean, I don't know. This is just one of the things that I think it's wrong with the FIA in the recent years. There is no clear thing. There is one agreement, and they don't do it. So I don't know. The stewards, when they got these videos of Aston Martin saying in these previous cases, they should say, you know what, I don't care. From now on, it's going to be like this. Shut up. And this way, everybody knows that when the car comes in and you have a time penalty, you cannot touch the car. Now, if somebody touches the car, they have the precedent of, right? Somebody will say, oh, but you look at Alonso and Aston Martin in Jeddah. They touched the rear jack guy touched the car. How can you solve this? I mean, the solution is quite clear, right? Either you put every single pit crew, mechanic, whatever, inside the garage until the time is done, and then they can run to the car, something like this, or just leave like a clear distance space between the car. Nobody can touch any tools or anything, but they can be there. Something like this. I mean, it has to be clear that you cannot touch the car. Don't give the mechanics the tools, the means, the possibility of doing it. Remove it. Tell them to stay away from the car. You cannot be around the car. Right? They will say it's not fair. Yeah, but you have a penalty for a reason, right? If the driver or the team did something wrong and you have a penalty, you deserve it. It's your fault. But anyway, this is the one with Ocon in Bahrain. Something similar. And this is the other case that I want to talk about. And this is something that when I was watching the race, I was like, what the F? Right? Stroll has an engine failure. He was losing power, whatever. And he parked the car. Look at where the car is, right? There is a barrier here. There is a corner over here, which I'm not... I don't remember the number of the corner. But anyway, it's this left-hander that is wide and high speed. Anyway. The car is clearly parked in a safe place. Look at this blue paint. It's safe. It's in a safe place. They can just push it inwards. What did the FIA do in this case? They pull out the safety car. The safety car, it's pulled because Lance Stroll parked the car in a safe place. There is the barrier, there's the concrete barrier, there's these air protections here. And they pulled the safety car out because Lance Stroll parked the car in a safe place. I mean, this is a joke. This safety car changed the whole race. There is Sainz and Leclerc, and I don't know which drivers already stopped that saw their chances taken away. And Hamilton, that was going in the opposite strategy with a hard tire in the beginning, saw his race destroyed. He had to do I don't know how many 40 laps with not 40 but 30 something laps with a soft tire. Sorry, soft, medium. Right? I mean, it's in a safe place. It's in a safe place. Why do you take the safety car out? What kind of joke is this? The safety car. What's gonna happen? Another car crashes there, but the car is safe. Nobody can hit this car. Look at the barrier, it's here. The safety car for this, what a joke, the safety car. The Ferraris lost a lot of positions with this. I don't know who else went into the pit lane, but Alonso's race was kind of safe as well. I mean, with that 5-second penalty, probably Max Verstappen was going to overtake him. I think he was like 10 or something. I don't remember the exact distance between Alonso and Verstappen at that point. But Leclerc's race was destroyed because he had to stay and stick behind Sainz for a very long time. Sainz's race was destroyed. And any possibility of Hamilton or whoever wanted to try something different was destroyed as well, because the FIA thought that was dangerous. I mean, the safety car usually, and I mean usually it's common sense, is brought to the track to try to make conditions safe. Like if there is an accident, if there is a car in the middle of the track, like if you park the car here, then yes, you need a safety car, right? But if you park the car behind the protection like this, well, what's the danger on this? The crane is right there. Look at the crane. It's here. They can just push the car out of the... This was really annoying for me. I think you can feel it, right? I mean, what kind of joke is this? Are they gonna do it? Like, I understand that the owners of the competition now are from the USA, but are you gonna make an IndyCar with the F1? Every single little thing is gonna be a safety car thing, so all the grid can compact again and have some extra show for the TV? No. It's a competition. There was no danger. Come on. Anyway, and this is only the second race already, like I mentioned. So, I mean, some things have to change. You cannot pull the safety car in these conditions. They already don't race with extreme wet tires, and they already are afraid of absolutely everything. Of course, I'm not saying to put things in danger, but if you have this situation, come on, really, no danger. What's if I park the car on the pit lane, you also need to pull the safety car out? Come on, what a joke. Anyway, I mean, consistency, right? Anyway, see you in the next video. I'm gonna be doing more videos this week about what happened in Jeddah, so take it easy and see you around.